Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Bahashem Rakakwadash, and I want to say Shalom to Yakanakwath out there, pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. This is another edition of What Does It Really Mean? And the word today is condemn. Okay, condemn. And we're over here in the Hebrew, all right, Strong's Hebrew 75 and 61, which goes back to the word Rasha. Okay, Rasha, which means condemn. And right off the bat, we're just going to jump right into it. So condemn, the translation count, total 34. Condemn, wickedly, wicked, departed, trouble, vexed, and wickedness. So it's mostly used for condemn, wickedly, and wicked. And the outline of the biblical usage: to be wicked or act wickedly. Okay, so a lot of time when you think of the word condemn, you think, someone's condemned you, declared you as a bad person, right? But you don't think of it as, to be wicked. All right, it's also used as the word for wicked. All right, the wicked. All right, as we're going to show you in this little window over here. Right. To be wicked, to act wickedly, or to be guilty, to be condemned. So if someone condemns you, they've declared you guilty. They've declared you as wicked. Okay. It can also mean, other things as well. To condemn as guilty in civil relations. To condemn as guilty in ethical or religious relations. So you could be condemned, to jail, not necessarily something religious-wise. Okay. It could have been, civil relations. What are civil relations? Go and look this up. Civil relations. Let's see. Partnerships, union, legal relationships recognized by the government. Civil issues, right? It says to condemn as guilty. Well, let's go on. What is a civil issue? Okay, a civil issue is non-criminal legal disputes between individuals, businesses, or government agencies, typically seeking to compensate or specific performance, compensation or specific performance rather than imprisonment. All right, so it might not be necessarily imprisonment. There could be other, resolutions. B, to condemn as guilty in ethical or religious relations, and C, to act wickedly in ethics and religion. Okay, so going back to the Strong's definition, Rasha, a primitive root, to be causively do or declare wrong, to do wrong or to declare wrong. All right, by implication, to disturb, violate, condemn, make trouble, vex. B, commit, deal, depart, do, wicked, wickedly, wickedness, right? So that's a Strong's definition of what it means. So basically, all of them would be to do wrong, to declare someone as doing wrong, okay, to disturb or violate someone, okay, to make trouble for someone, okay, or to deal wickedly, commit wickedness, all right, to depart, all right, to do wicked, all right. Well, it says depart, so I guess it could mean if it's used for the wicked, I guess if you're, I don't know if that necessarily means depart from wickedness. Maybe depends on the context, but yeah. So we're just gonna go down here and look at all the different, the concordance showing all of the different results for the word Rasha. Okay, and it occurs 36 times in 35 verses, which if you do the math, that means it occurs in at least in one verse twice. It says in the WLC Hebrew. So we're gonna go through here. I got a couple. There's the one that it's there's a couple that's actually written twice in. But yeah, man. So we're just gonna go and jump right into it. I am curious. Let's see. What is the Greek equivalent of Rasha? Of here. They say it's this word here. Here it is. Ungodly, ungodly. Let's see what it's usually used for here. Ungodly. Let's see. So it would really, this is the word for condemn. So let me go and see. Hebrew word for condemn. Okay, so it goes back to this one. Again, there's many different, as I do these, what does it really mean? There's always many different words. No, that one doesn't even show up. Using legal, declare, Rashah, here, yeah, okay, so primary biblical Hebrew root, mean declare someone wicked as guilty. So yeah, it is right with the Rashah. So it looks like Rashah for Hebrew, and then katekrino, all right, in the Greek, okay, katekrino. So katekrino. So let's we'll get into these both. I want to do a little bit of the Greek as well. I got a couple of scriptures written down here that I want to touch on, but we're just going to go as I do with these and just go and read some of them. So the first time it's used is in Exodus 22:9. It says, "For all manner of trespass, whether it be for ox, for ass, for sheep, for raiment, or for any matter of a lost thing which another challenges to be his, the cause of both parties shall come before the judges, and whom the judges shall condemn, he shall pay double unto his neighbor." So what is this talking about? If you're saying something is yours and you were a liar, all right, no, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine. It's really not yours, all right, and you go before the judges, and you come to the judges, and the judges condemn you. They say, no, that item's not yours, that's them. Then what's your punishment? You would pay double unto your neighbor, okay? So that's the first instance of it used, is Exodus 22:9. As a matter of fact, if you want to make that a little bit easier, you can take this, go into the Bible Gateway, and just drop it in. Oops. Just drop it in. And let's see what we got here. The ASV, it says, "For every manner of trespass, whether it be for ox, for ass, for sheep, for raiment, or for any manner of lost things, whereof one saith, this is it, the cause of both parties shall come before Yahweh." Well, it says the judges. So the judges, he's the ultimate judge, but there were also other judges that the Lord set up as well. So they kind of, go off on that. You weren't necessarily brought before Yahweh. I mean, you were in a sense, but you were brought before, actual, men. All right, men that were, working in the name of Yahweh Shem Shai. It says, so we're not going to even finish that because that's, wrong. Right here, the Amp Bible. This is more accurate right here. "For every offense involving property, whether it concerns ox, donkey, sheep, clothing, or any piece of lost property which another identifies as his, and the case of both parties shall come before the judges who act in Yahweh's name." See, it's not Yahweh that you're coming before. I mean, you are in a sense, but you're coming before judges that are acting in Yahweh's name. This is the Old Testament, so it's Yahweh. Now it's Yahweh Shem Shai, because he sent his son as well, and we can't reach the Father but through the Son. So they act in the name of Yahweh Shem Shai, according to their plans, according to their goals, according to how it should be done, right? It says, "Whomever the judges pronounce guilty shall pay double to his neighbor." All right, so that means, really, they were lying. All right, they were lying. They said, this thing was mine, and it wasn't. All right, well, then guess what? You get condemned. You get declared as what? You get, where were we over here? You get declared as guilty. okay, or declared as wicked. Hey, what you did was wicked. You lied. All right, and lying is wickedness, right? So you got declared as wicked. You were the wicked one in this. You were the evil one in this. All right, you were lying. Okay, you're condemned as guilty in a civil relations and a civil case, and however you want to, a legal case, however you want to say it. And what was the punishment in that specific instance? Well, they have to return unto that individual double. Okay, so if their ox was worth, I don't know, I'm just going to throw something out my ass, 50 shekels. All right, I don't know how much an ox would cost back then. Let's see. How many shekels was an ox in ancient Israel? If they even know. That's funny. 50 shekels being the most common. I don't know. It must have just been in me. I must have been, I don't know, buying oxes or something in my past life. 50 shekels. Right? So I didn't think it to be true. I just threw out a number, right? 50. But I guess I was right. Maybe, like I said, maybe in my past life, that must have come unto me because I bought oxes or something. Maybe I was an ox trader. I don't know. 50 shekels. I don't know. But yeah, so if the ox was 50 shekels, congratulations. Now you have to pay 100 shekels. All right? You have to pay 100 shekels. Now, and usually in the case, if you couldn't pay for it, congratulations. You just got yourself a slave. All right? You couldn't pay for it. I have no money. Well, congratulations. You are the money now. So I got a bunch of stuff in my backyard that needs picked up. All right? I do have some other oxes besides the ones you stole. And now that I've got them back, well, oxes like to shit a whole bunch. So go ahead and start cleaning that up. All right? That's how it works. And again, disclaimer, I'm going to say it pretty much every lesson for you Christians that are here that don't know where the hell you are, you don't know where you're at, all right, you've somehow stumbled across this channel thinking we're Christian. We are Hebrew Israelites, okay? The difference between us and you is a whole lot, but one of the primary ones that you're going to see in this lesson is that we actually looked for facts, all right, we actually pull out the truth, and then two, you hear us say swear words sometimes, some bad words, oh, they're harsh. Yeah, well, here's the difference. We don't lean into the commandments of men, okay? And the whole not saying shit, that's a commandment of men, okay? Your church elders told you that, and it's nowhere in the Bible. You can't say that, and it's not, again, I say it almost every single lesson, it's not corrupt communication. Corrupt communication is deceitful speaking. If I told you that the Lord's going to condemn you and you're going to go to hell because you said the word shit, that, in fact, would be corrupt communication. Me saying shit is not corrupt communication. So, again, you're pointing a finger when the finger's pointing right back at you, buddy. So, anyway, little disclaimer out there. We hear that a lot, but I'm gonna keep on saying it because, again, I like to say that a lot, and it sounds like I'm a broken record, but I say that over and over and over again because you'd be surprised, brothers and sisters, how many random, well, not so much you brothers that are teaching, how many random Christians will find their way to your page and try to be like, well, you shouldn't be swearing like speaking the Bible, or saying some other, or Jesus whatnot. Well, we don't really care what Jesus thinks, all right? We care what Yahweh Shema Shai says, and we know in the Bible, again, another thing you hear me say like a broken record over again, because these Christians try to say, oh, they hate Jesus in the Bible. Well, we don't hate Jesus in the Bible, okay? We hate the image of Jesus that we hate this guy. This guy, we hate this guy. We don't like this guy, okay? Now, if you go to Revelation, look, 1 and 14, and you see it says, describes the glorified, resurrected Yahushua, that's his name, featuring hair white like wool, as white as snow, and eyes like a flame of fire. They forgot to mention that, well, it's actually in 15, I think. Right here. See, they don't give me an image for that one. Right here. 15, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice is the sound of many waters. So his skin was very, very dark. So we... Yahushua, okay, this is not exactly what he looks like, but it's a more accurate depiction. We don't hate this individual, okay? Yahushua, we don't hate Yahushua. Now, again, if you go into the ancient biblical Paleo-Hebrew, if you look into that name, I'll just do it. Oops. I'll just do it, because we know the Christians won't, and you type in Jesus. And you go to Jesus, and you get the first scripture, Matthew 1 and 1, and then you type on Matthew 1 and 1, and then you look for the word Jesus. You're going to see that his name isn't Jesus in the first place if you're going off the Greek. All right, it's Jesus.
Strong's G 2424. Jesus.
All right, his name in the Greek is Jesus. Okay, again, that's not his name. It's of Hebrew origin. He's a Hebrew man, Hebrew origin. You wouldn't have a Greek name, you'd have a Hebrew origin. Again, it's then translated into Greek, and from Greek into English. Okay, so again, right here, Hebrew. Now, this is where people go off. They say Yahushua. Yahushua. Well, that's not how you pronounce that at all. Okay, Yahushua. And the other thing is, it goes back to nomen omen. All right, it's the name that you would have would be how you were. All right, and it literally means, okay, it goes back to the father's name, Yahweh. Okay, Yahweh is how you would, that would be Yah. Okay, let me go and get it. Paleo Hebrew, there it is. Okay, so you would have Yah right here. Ha. So it's already not Yah, it's Yaha. Yaha. Wa. Yah. Ha, wa, and then again, ha, and then you drop the a, because that's how it works phonetically in writing in Hebrew, all right, and pronunciation. So Yahweh, Yahweh. So the Father's name is Yahweh, and what does it mean? It means He exists. Okay, the existing one, He exists. Okay, so it can also mean He is. All right. That's literally what it means. He told Moses, I am. So his name literally means he is. Okay? He is. Okay? So, and then this would be Shawai. Okay? We'll show you. Where were we? Well, first we got to get the Ya, Sha, and then I. All right, Yashai. Okay, so it's Yahweh. Now, if you would put them together like this, broken up, it obviously wouldn't be the right way. It would be Yahweh, Yashai. All right, which is not how it is, because if you see it here, let's do it all together. Ya, ha, ya, ha. Where were we? Yahweh. There's the Father's name right there. All right. Sha. Okay, going back to show you. Sha. Wa. And then I. So Yahweh Shawai. All right, Yahweh Shawai. But notice Yahushua. So it's compound word. It's off. All right, and that's because it's not worded correctly. All right, in the Hebrew. So you would do Yah, Ha, Wa, Sha, and then this would drop down to just the I. So Yah, Ha, Wa, Shai, or actually the A would drop too. So just Yahweh Shai. Okay, so the Father's name is Yahweh. The Son's name is Yahweh Shai. The Father's name, Yahweh, you can go and type in I am. Right. Here it is. Okay. And Yahweh said unto Moses, Exodus 3:14, and Yahweh said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am hath sent me unto you. So again, he's I am. You would, if you refer to that the third person, it would be he is. So his name is he is. Okay, and he is, well, I closed out of it, is Yahweh. He is the existing one. He is. So he is, and then so that's Yahweh, and then we have the Shai part, or Shawai, all right, as you would, if you didn't break it down correctly. So Yahweh Shawai, which means he is what? The deliverer, all right. If you go back to this, the word Yashai, it means to save or deliver, okay. So he is the deliverer. He delivers. He saves, okay, is what the Son's name is. See, now Jesus doesn't mean anything, all right. Well, it means dirty earth, all right, or earth dirt. All right, that's what it means. So is that a nomen omen? Does that show you what he was? No, absolutely not. Okay, absolutely not. So these Christians don't know what they're talking about. Okay, so no, but notice how it came from that name Jesus. We're not against, the individual that's mentioned as Jesus in the Bible, or the individual that's mentioned as God in the Bible. It's just those names that are put in the Bible were incorrect translations. All right, we use the correct translations. Right, we use the correct translations. So when we see the name Jesus in the Bible, we don't say, oh, I hate that person that's speaking. No, that's Yahushua. When we see the name God, all right, with a capital G, that's Yahweh, okay? But you try to say, oh, they hate God and Jesus. We hate the names God and Jesus, but we don't hate the individuals that are mentioned in the Bible as God and Jesus. No. All right, we just don't like those names because those aren't the real names. The Father's name is Yahweh. The Son's name is Yahushua. Anyway, lesson within a lesson, all right? Lesson within a lesson. So the Christians always try to come out a different way, and they try to condemn us. Right, going back into Proverbs 17 and 15, they try to condemn us when really they're the wicked. Right, they're the wicked. So let's keep going on. Where were we? Another one dealing with the same judge situation, Deuteronomy 25 and 1. If there be a controversy between men, there's an issue, right, and they come into judgment, that the judges may judge them, then shall they justify the righteous and condemn the wicked. So justify the righteous and condemn the wicked. I gotta go and get Proverbs 17 and 15 immediately, okay, because that's the right way it should be. You should go back. You should justify the righteous and condemn the wicked. Okay, justify the righteous. If they said, oh, you're wicked for doing this, and you say, you're right, they are wicked for doing that, right? And then that person that was wicked, you say, you are wicked. That person is right what he's saying about you. All right, you are wicked, but you are wicked. You're not right in this situation. But in Esau society, it's a little bit backwards, right? This is Proverbs 17 and 15. It says, he that justifieth the wicked and he that condemneth the just, even they both are abomination to the Lord. Now you hear us talking about this a lot with like individuals that they're not homosexuals, but their kids are homosexuals, and they say, no, what they're doing is right, and you're wrong for telling them that the Lord's going to kill them. You're wrong for that. Well, what you're doing right there is you're justifying the wicked and condemning the just, because at the time being, we're now not saying we're just in everything we do, because we are as men, we do go off from time to time, not on a huge level like these other worldly individuals. We're not just accidentally, committing murder or accidentally, no, we don't do those things, all right? But we do have foolish thoughts, which is marked as a sin, all right, within the scriptures. He that condemneth the just, even they both are abomination to the Lord. So if you're condemning the just, and what they were saying at that time being was just, they were saying, hey, that person's a wicked individual, all right, condemning them, saying, hey, look, you are wicked for doing that, and then you say they're not wicked, you're wicked. Well, guess what? You're just as bad as that individual that was doing that thing, right? You're just as bad as that individual that was doing that thing, right? So let's get, what else? You can see right here, and you can see in 1 Samuel 14 and 47, it's used for the word vexed. He vexed them, right? And in 1 Samuel 24 and 13, you see it used for the word the wicked, right? As saith the proverb of the ancients, wickedness proceedeth from the wicked, but mine hand shall not be upon thee. So again, that's showing you that wickedness comes from the wicked. Who would have guessed? A lot of these individuals, they say, and that really reminds me of scripture. A good tree shall not bear forth bad fruit, or shall not bring forth evil fruit. I think as it goes. Matthew 7 and 18 through 23, it says, a good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Okay, and that talks about, in verse 19, every tree that bringeth forth, like it bringeth not forth good fruit, is hewn down and cast in the fire, cut down and chopped in the fire. That's talking about those wicked individuals. Okay, and that's also it's also a discernment showing you about false prophets. Those are not bringing forth good things. Well, then, if it was a good tree, it'd be bringing forth good fruit, but they're not. They're bringing forth evil fruit. We see that a lot with ISUPK, talking about, oh, you should get some good heroin. That was years ago now, but still, that type of shit sticks around, man. That's some wicked ass shit to say. And the IOIC is guilty of a lot of that as well. But yeah, like it says in verse 13, 1 Samuel 24 and 13, wickedness proceedeth from the wicked. Yeah, the wicked brings forth wicked things, all right? It's just like righteousness proceed from the righteous, right? Absolutely. What else do we got? How long have we been going on? Let me close out of this. Probably do a little 30-minute lesson. So let me get some now that I have written down. We already got Proverbs 17 and 15, so let me mark that one out. Okay, let's get Psalms 94 and 1. Show you who it's talking about. We'll go from down to 3. Psalm 94 and 1. O Lord Yahweh, to whom vengeance belongeth. That shows you the vengeance is the Lord. It's vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, right? O Lord Yahweh, to whom vengeance belongeth. O Yahweh, to whom vengeance belongeth. Show thyself. Lift up thyself, thou judge of the earth. Render a reward to the proud. Lord, how long shall the wicked triumph? How long shall they utter and speak hard things, and all the workers of iniquity boast themselves? So it's a plea unto the Lord to, destroy these. You see it a lot in the Psalms. A lot of the Psalms are pleas for the wicked to be destroyed, all right, at the hand of the Lord. But really 21 is the one I want to touch on here. But showing you who it's talking about, the wicked. It says, they gather themselves, who? The wicked. They gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous and condemn the innocent blood. So going back into that same word, you're going to see condemn, going back to the word rashah. So they declare wicked those that are actually righteous. Okay, and again, that goes back to Proverbs 17 and 15. These individuals now, they'll condemn the just, but they'll lift up the wicked, right? And again, it's a lot that, especially when people's feelings are hurt. A lot of these, these homosexuals, these individuals that are doing wickedly, or these individuals. There was just a lesson I was watching today. Let me go to it. My God, was it hard to watch? And here's another one. I don't even know what this is. I don't even want to hear it. Not that the lesson's wrong, but man, I can't deal with these wicked ass women, man. God damn, they're annoying. But it was a video that the Apostle Gabar made that was reacting to a video that was put out by GMS South Carolina 08, which is, of course, the beloved brother, Elder Manata Zatba. And he made this lesson right here. Man, this shit was hard to watch. And not shit as in the lesson being shit, because it's not. This shit, right, on the left here, this shit that this woman put out, that was shit. International breaking news, digital ID. Oh my God, I don't even want to hear it again. Digital ID infrastructure and DIDI and NWO. Yeah, man. Man, this my God, this lady was hard to listen to. I think was that the same lady? It might not be the same lady. 1 minute, let me go check. This lady, Salakia, it wasn't that lady. This fucking creature here. All right, this fucking creature. All right. From his lesson, response, Hebrew Israelites are a toxic cult of Satan spawn. Hebrew Israelite Jew bullshit, right? Hurt. And from Littia, all right? Littia, all right? Lydia, all right? It's a cult that's ruining families. Well, it talks about, the Lord talks about setting people set at variance. Matthew 10:35. This again, these Christians talking, they don't even know prophecy. It talks about this happening, man. Matthew 10:35-37. For I am come to set a man at variance. He's coming with love. No, for I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a man's foes shall be they of his own household. Why? Because a lot of the people in the same household are going to be wicked motherfuckers, wicked individuals, all right, that are evil. Like the gnat on the screen, that it sucks to say, but a lot of your aunties, uncles, cousins, sisters, brothers, uncles, all right, grandmamas, grandpappies, all right, are wicked as hell. All right, a lot of them are wicked as hell. It says, and a man's foe shall be they of his own household. Why? Because they say, oh, he's evil because he's teaching that hate. He's out there preaching that hate. He's not preaching that love. He's preaching the hate. All right, he's not preaching the love of Jesus. He's preaching the hate. They're hateful. Those are hateful individuals. All right, that's what you're going to have. All right, and that's why you shouldn't be partial. All right, right here, verse 37 warns about partiality. It says, he that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. I heard a story. I can't remember exactly who it came from or where it was, but it was a story about a man that, basically he was in the truth, but he fell out because his mom was an Edomite and he just couldn't handle it. All right. So that goes back into 37. He that loveth father and mother more than me. Oh, I can't do it. You're going to destroy my uncle? Sure, he don't like the truth, but he's a good man. He took care of his. He's a piece of shit. Okay, he's a piece of shit. All right, if he's not following the work and will of Yahweh Shem Shai, he's a piece of shit. All right, he could be a loving piece of shit, but he's a piece of shit nonetheless. All right, and that's the thing that you got to realize. A lot of your family members are wicked as hell. They don't love the Lord. They're calling upon Jesus, which is a false god, a false idol. They're dethroning really Yahweh Shem Shai in favor of Jesus Christ. All right, they put that name, all the trust into that name, while tearing down the name Yahushai Hamashiach, and then they're worshiping a white man. All right, and we're not supposed to envy the oppressor. All right, and that is the epitome of envying the oppressor. Right, is worshiping the white man. It's fucking gnat, man. Get out of here. Let me turn on this light and see if it'll go away. Maybe bother the light, but. You know, a lot of these people are going to be destroyed because they love their mama, their brother, their sister, their mother a little bit too much. All right, and that doesn't mean you have to hate them. All right, but you do love them because at the end of the day, it's your mom or your dad or whatnot. But at the end of the day, you can't let that look. My dad, I'm not the best in relationship with my dad. All right, I try to love him the best of my ability, right? But and my mom. But at the end of the day, they're both wicked, man. My dad, I just had a video call him the other day. He was wearing a shirt that said "Jesus is the way to the light and to the truth." All right, you know, completely gone, man. Completely bonkers, bugged out. My mom, like I said, I mentioned her. I pray to my angels. You're not supposed to pray to the angels, man. So look, at the end of the day, you can love them, but they're wicked, man. They're wicked. They're wicked as hell. Right? They're both wicked as hell. All right, Align, and I don't even know if my mom Alion's chakra, but she's all into that like new age bullshit. All right. Sticks, stones, and all these different things like that, and it's not that is wrong, but those things aren't going to save you. All right, as the apostles say, watch out for those women that are all entranced in stones and all that new age stuff, astrology. Watch out, man. They say watch out for that. It was years ago. I don't remember if it was one of the apostles, but they say watch, and they say, and a woman with a tight ass head cap on all the time. They say watch the fuck out, because those are the ones that are bugged out, man. They're bugged out. And again, like you've seen the brothers talk about with stones and stuff, but stones aren't going to save you. They really can't do anything without Yahweh Shem Shai. If they could do something without Yahweh Shem Shai, then guess what? At the end of the day, you wouldn't need Yahweh Shem Shai. You just, pray to a stone and be done with it. No, you don't even have to own stones. Just pray to Yahweh Shem Shai. You don't have to rub a stone on your fucking neck. No, just call upon Yahweh Shem Shai. Right? Again, there are, healing properties and all the things that, herbs and stones and minerals and stuff that comes from the ground. I mean, we're from the dust, so, at the end of the day, those things can be helpful, but they're only going to be helpful through Yahweh Shem Shai. And if you don't have them, it doesn't matter. All right? You can get just as good healing by calling upon Yahweh Shem Shai as taking a piece of quartz and rubbing it across your goddamn temple. I don't know if you know that or not. Right? A lot of people get too entranced in that, and it starts becoming more of a pagan thing. Like these individuals that are into this new age bullshit with all these, surrounding themselves with stones and doing all this weird, burning. You damn near. I mean, sage is fine and stuff, but again, at the end of the day, it's not what you can pray to Yahweh Shem Shai to cleanse the demons out, and they'll be away. You don't have to burn all these. You're getting into the part where you're getting so deep into it. Again, you can burn sage and have stones, but some of these people get so deep into it, you're damn near burning strange fires. All right. Well, in the sun, in the light of the moon, I'm gonna burn sage while I face the. Come on, man. I know you're facing the east, but that's getting a little. I mean, you're trying to get as damn close as you can to a seance. All right. And again, a lot of that people get too involved in that, and they end up losing their mind. And it's the same thing. Look, be one deep, don't be too deep. Okay. Be one deep, don't be too deep. And again, with your family members, again, a lot of these, a man's foe shall be they of his own household. They're gonna hate you. Why? Because you're righteous and they're not, and they're gonna fall into that Proverbs 17 and 15 category of trying to condemn you. They say, "Oh boy, you evil." You say, "I heard you talking about white people. The white man. If it wasn't for the white man, we wouldn't have half of this shit." Or they say, "Just because the white man did us wrong, ain't a reason to hate." All right, and you're saying he's gonna go into slavery. Look, he was wrong when he put us into slavery. We're not gonna right or wrong with the evil, right? They'll say that. No one's going into slavery. The Lord's not gonna have anybody in slavery, brother. It's not gonna happen. Well, you're wrong. You're wrong. All right, we can go and get right now. He that leadeth into captivity. All right, now, the Lord's not gonna have anybody in captivity, brother. He's not gonna have anybody being slaves. Well, then I guess he's full of shit, then, right? Revelation 13 and 10, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of saints. If the Lord says it, it's done. All right, whatever. There's actually a scripture. Whatever the Lord, I can't remember exactly how it goes. The Lord says, is done. There's another. Well, I can't. There's another one, but here's two. Let's get that one, and then let's get man, what was the other one? Here's another one. Okay. Numbers 23:19. Yahweh is not a man that he should lie, neither the son of man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Or hath he spoken, and shall he not make it good? And again, going into they break forth into singing right up at the top of this. Isaiah chapter 14, again, right here. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, that's the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all 12 tribes, and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers, if you go into that word strange, it goes back to heathens. And the strangers, the heathens, those that are not so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and throw all the other stuff away. Say verse 1's, bullshit, right? Everything's just bullshit, right? Go, that's fine, cool. Verse 2, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So the Lord's full of shit, right? He's full of shit. This is all full of shit. He's going back. He just said, right? He's not a man that he should lie, right? And that, like it says, hath he said and shall he not do it? So if he said that in Isaiah, right? And he mentioned the heathens going into captivity, and he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, then guess what? He's not going to lie. That's going to happen. Hath he spoken and shall he not make it good? Roughly paraphrasing. No, he's not. If he said it, it's going to be done. It's going to be done. Rest assured. Well, maybe he changed his mind. Maybe he thought it was a little bit hard. Nope. Malachi 3:6. For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. So it's going to happen. 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 Again, we're going off on a different tangent at this point. Lesson within a lesson. But again, man, you can't be partial. You can't let any of this worldly shit get involved and try to, change your judgment. All right? Those that are wicked are the wicked. Those that are the righteous are the righteous. You can't try to condemn the righteous, and you can't try to justify the wicked. All right? You're not supposed to be doing those things. It's wicked. It's wrong. All right? And you're thought of as just as evil as that individual when you do those things. Okay? So there's that. And then let's get all these scriptures are dealing with the word the wicked. And we're not going to necessarily get every single one of them, but if you go and look in the wicked, all right, there's that word Rasha again. All right, now if we go down to, this is mostly in Exodus, but looking into the wicked, Slaki, that's not what we wanted, but the wicked, Job 15:20, the wicked man. All right, let's see is that Rasha? Yep, Rasha again. So it can be dealt with as Rasha. All right, those that are declared as guilty. For example, Esau is known as the wicked. So what does that really mean at the end of the day? As if they're the wicked, the man that has been declared as guilty, the man that has been declared wicked. Okay, the man that has been declared as wicked and for harm to come upon him. Right? If you want to use the other definitions of condemn. Right? And again, this is the word here, katakrino, all right, in the Greek.
Strong's G 2632, katakrino. Katakrino.
All right, and you're going to see different words here, like Mark 14:64. It says, "Ye have heard the blasphemy, what think ye? And they all condemned him to be guilty of death." So again, again, they condemned him to be guilty of death. Right here, Mark 16:16. He that believeth and is baptized, and we baptize through the Holy Spirit, and you don't have to go get dunked in water. It says, shall be saved, but he that believeth not shall be damned, condemned, put to death. Right? There you go. Let's see. Romans 14:23. And he that doubteth is damned if he eat, because he eateth not of faith. For whosoever is not of faith is sin. Right here, Hebrews 11:7. This is a good one. By faith, Noah, being warned of Yahweh of things not seen as yet. This is the whole. This chapter right here, 11, is dealing with faith. It says by faith, Noah, being warned of Yahweh of things not seen as yet, being moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith. So the world was condemned. Why? They were declared as wicked. They were declared as wicked. Okay. But anyway, let's get we're gonna get back into the Hebrew for the most part. So Psalms, we already got 94 and 1. 21. Let's get James, 5 and 1. 5 and 1. Misuse of riches. So here's one. Esau likes to misuse their riches. Okay, this is anybody rich can do this type of shit, but at the end of the day, Esau does it primarily. So misuse of riches. It says, verse 1, go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days. Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you, kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them that have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. So again, you didn't pay half of your laborers, and if you did, you paid them, not worthily. Okay. It says, ye have lived in pleasure on the earth, and been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in a day of slaughter. You have condemned and killed the just, and he doth not resist you. So again, going back into that Proverbs 17 and 15 situation. That's not the only time this type of situation comes throughout the Bible. There's many times and many examples of the wicked people trying to condemn the just. Okay, it's like, no, you're wicked. You're wicked. They try to throw out a monkey wrench. You see it on the highways and byways too. They're like, hey man, you're wicked as hell for that. You're wicked. You guys are wicked. You're preaching hate. You're wicked. All right, and when somebody cuts, usually they try to throw out some. They try to pull out the I'm rubber, you're glue. Everything you throw at me comes back and sticks on you. All right, they try to do that. They get mad that they were condemned, and they try to push that blame back on you. You see it all the time with the apostles and elders. That's all of vocab Malone's ministry. And then, you're wicked for teaching this type of stuff. Man, shut up, man. Get a new scenario to go back about of, right? These individuals are ridiculous. But that's all. See, that's all he can do, though. That's all these Christians can do. No, you're the wicked. No. The Bible doesn't preach hate. It does actually. Preaches a lot of hate, but you just don't want to see it because you don't realize that the book is actually only written for the Israelites. Well, that's hateful. It is hateful. All right, it is. So and the Lord is very loving, but also very hateful, and you're part of the people that He hates. Do I want to explain Luke in 6 and 37? I wanted to get this because just to cut the Christians out there that say, oh, well, look, Luke 6 and 37, you're not supposed to be condemning anybody. Well, it uses that same word. It says, judge not, and ye shall not be judged. Condemn not, and ye shall not be condemned. Forgive, and ye shall be forgiven. And again, this is going into judging righteously. Okay, you're not just judging. All right, oh, you're wicked because you did this or you did that. You can't call someone wicked because for example, you're not supposed to really be drinking soda, but you can't call someone wicked because they drank a soda. All right, that's not according to the scripture. I mean, you could go and say, oh, well, it's polluting your temple. Well, yeah, but it's not like you're putting a drug into your body. All right, and again, there's certain levels with that. If you take an ibuprofen, all right, well, you took an ibuprofen. All right, at the end of the day, you got to judge righteously. You got to not be too high level and not be too low level at the end of the day. You got to judge righteous judgment, as we're going to get in John 7 and 24. And again, if you see someone smoking crack or doing drugs, yeah, absolutely, condemn them. But if someone's eating a burger, look, sometimes you're going to have to eat a burger. Should we be eating burgers? No. But that's sometimes you're going to do that. That's not on the same level as smoking crack, all right? That's not on the same level of popping pills. If you take an ibuprofen, that's not like you're popping pills, all right? That's not like popping pills, at all, okay? You got to do it. Okay, for example, when I got some teeth removed, they gave me a Percocet, and did I take it? Absolutely, I took it. Why? Because I was using it for its intended purpose. All right. Now, at the end of the day, is that technically still pharmakia, going back into witchcraft and concoction? Of course, they do that. But at the end of the day, the Lord's not going to condemn you because you took something for pain. Okay, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Okay, again, now you should be wary with those type of things because, again, they are addictive. And 2, you shouldn't be taking them just to get high. And then 3, if you can avoid them, try to avoid them as much as possible because there's all sorts of side effects and shit from that type of stuff. But if you take it because, you know, you just had a surgery or something, yeah, you're probably gonna need those painkillers, right? You're probably gonna need them. John 7 and 24. And if by some mean you can find some natural concoction that does it for you, hey, call all you Halbah Shemiah Shai and use that instead, right? Because why would you use one of Esau's things if you can find something that works better instead, right? This is John 7:24. It says, "Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment." Okay, so that would be to Christians. They would say, "Oh, well, so I just said judge not, that you be not judged." Well, yeah, but that's talking about unrighteous judging. Okay. That's talking about not judging according to righteous judgment. All right, we are called to judge, okay, but we have to judge righteous judgment. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. All right, we have to judge according, and it's the same thing. We can't be hypocrites. All right, if we're saying to someone, hey man, you can't be smoking crack, and meanwhile you're smoking crack or meth, all right, you can't be doing that at all. Okay, so that would again fall into that Luke 6 and 37. So Luke 2 and 21, here it is. Hey man, you're not supposed to be smoking crack and you're snorting meth. You know, that's off. Okay, that's not righteous judgment. Really, you're being a hypocrite. Okay, you're not supposed to be a hypocrite. This is a good scripture about not being a hypocrite. We'll just get verse 21, and then we're going to close out, right? So Romans 2 and 21, it says, "Thou therefore which teacheth another, teachest thou not thyself? Thou that preachest a man should not steal, dost thou steal?" So if I was up on these lessons saying, you brothers and sisters are not supposed to be stealing, meanwhile I'm Captain Five Finger Discount over here, that would be wicked, okay? Or if I say, oh, you're not supposed to be doing drugs, meanwhile I'm over here doing drugs, that would be wicked. Or if I say, oh, you're supposed to keep the Sabbath, and then I'm not keeping the Sabbath, that would be wicked. Speaking of that, Sabbath resumes again tonight at sundown, about an hour and a half. It's new moon, all right, and the new Sabbath will be from what is today? Saturday. So it's going to be from Saturday to Sunday. Okay, from Saturday to Sunday until the next new moon, right? Which is usually about a month. All right. It's when the next moon phase comes in for the new moon, right? Because that's what starts the new phase. So yeah, man, you're not supposed to be a hypocrite. You're not supposed to be doing those things, but I wanted to get that because the Christians always try to pull out of scripture. So I wanted to go ahead and jump the gun, right? I wanted to do it before they could do it. And, yeah, so that's the lesson. That's what does it really mean? Condemn. What does it really mean? And what does it really mean? It means to declare as wicked or to be declared as wicked by someone else, or to cause harm or, vexation, right? So that's what it means. So that's where we're going to close out. I got another one I want to do later on tonight. I don't know what it's going to be. We'll just have to see and go through it. But so that's where we're going to close out for this one. Lord willing, it was edifying. Again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Rakakwadash. I want to say shalom to your brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Until next one, Lord willing. Shalom.